document that we decided to use was the pre-revolutionary work, Common Sense. It was written by philosopher and revolutionary Thomas Paine. It outlines the basic need and reasons for the colonies to declare independence from Britain. He suggests that it's only common sense that the colonies part from their mother country, Britain. Two famous quotes that are known to be in his work are, "Government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil. In its worst state, an intolerable one." Another famous one was, "Society is produced by our wants, and government by our wickedness. The former promotes our happiness positively by uniting our affections, the latter negatively by restraining our vices." These quotes show that one of the main things that he wanted to push was for the colonies to rebel. He saw that government was evil, and he strongly suggested that the colonies rebel against it. Common sense would allow other civilizations to see the strong desire for freedom and independence among Americans. The American revolutionary mindset of the early colonies established the tone of democracy that's instilled in the foundation of Americans' government and society, even to this day. For our non-artistic artifact, we chose the Twin Towers Memorial. This happened after the 9/11 attack that destroyed both of the Twin Towers in 2001. The building of the Twin Towers Memorial in 2006 demonstrates the resilience of the American spirit. It also shows how Americans respond to unprecedented tragedies, such as the attack on 9/11. This is a good example for other cultures to see the resilience that the U.S. has. Even though it has been struck, it is able to stand right back up and build a memorial for the lives lost. This picture is a picture of a veteran coming back from the war, specifically World War II, and this is on VJ Day, which is also known as Victory over Japan Day.
This picture represents the passionate American attitude of patriotism and willingness to sacrifice themselves for one's country. The manner in which this man embraced and kissed a stranger shows the joy Americans have once their nation has reached victory. Other civilizations would also be able to see the capacity of human love in America through this photo. This picture demonstrates how Americans are connected through loyalty and gratefulness for their country. That they even kiss strangers to celebrate because they have so much happiness that they have no other outlet to showcase it. It's important that other civilizations understand the amicable relationships between fellow American citizens that is highlighted in times of war. Abraham Lincoln best represents the democracy and fairness that America seeks to achieve with each passing generation. The American public recognized the integrity that Lincoln had showcased throughout his whole political career and looked up to him with the utmost respect. Beginning as a lawyer and continuing up into his death, Lincoln kept honesty at the forefront of his morals, which assisted in his support for just causes and needs. He demonstrates these ideals of fairness as he constantly attempted to save the Union during the Civil War of America, a national dispute that was initially sparked by slavery and regional differences. Throughout the entirety of the war, Lincoln had preservation of the Union at the forefront of his mind. This is evident as he refers to the South as states in rebellion, rather than recognizing the secession from the Union. In a notorious address called the Gettysburg Address, Lincoln speaks to encourage the Union to continue the war in hopes of one day reuniting the two sections, the northern section and the southern section of the country. In the Gettysburg Address, Lincoln says,
"It is for us, the living, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. That this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom. And that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth."
Through this well-known speech, Lincoln captured the hearts of the American citizens then and inspired the generations of the future. Evidently, Lincoln is the reason for the unified country at the end of the Civil War and has since helped inspire the morals of honesty and dignity within American ideals. The impact of Abraham Lincoln continues to this day as a memorial of Lincoln is honored and respected in the capital of our nation. The Seneca Falls Convention took place on July 19th through July 20th of 1848. This convention was the first women's rights convention in the United States. Its goals were to better the civil, social, and religious rights for women. This event also began the women's suffrage movement in the United States, which was a movement that would not reach its goal of gaining the vote for women until many decades later, specifically 1920. This convention came up with a Declaration of Sentiments, which was a document that described the grievances and demands of women to be considered equal in the eyes of the United States government and society. The document stated that all men and women are created equal, to emphasize that equality is what needs to be done, because men are not the only people that make up the United States. We've included this event in this time capsule to demonstrate the freedom citizens have in our society to speak their minds and critique the government. It also shows the determination our citizens have to do what is right and to recognize when there is an injustice. This convention also shows that the very root of our country is freedom. While there are many injustices in our country, the right to speak your mind without fear of retribution remained a constant in our history. From the onstart of this nation, democracy has fueled the American right to be free.